Hi everyone that's watching. I want to welcome you all to this little video series. Some of you may, well, hopefully a decent amount of you, participated in this big old survey I put up for all of the Kickstarter pitch matchups for the Death Battle Kickstarter that happened a couple months ago, which really happy that succeeded so fast and so well. This is the beginning of a series of videos going over the results of that survey. I'll be in every video, and I'll be joined hopefully by a few different people, which will most likely change as schedules permit during each recording session. Before I kick it all off, there are 2 points I definitely want to make sure I go over. The first of which is that the ranking of this survey is not at all accurate, because it was not every single combination. Everybody got 1,000 questions out of a possible close to 30,000. So, as you can probably guess, not accurate. Meaning, it also has no bearing on the quality of those matchups, which is why the main intention is to highlight the good parts of every matchup that has been pitched. I mean, people paid money to do this. There's obviously a lot of passion behind most of them. I think 1 or 2 matchups weren't exactly the most serious. I think one that comes to mind was the first one that we'll be talking about, which I think was Atom Smasher versus Cyborg, which was purely done to get the characters on the show as a pitch. I think I could be wrong. If somebody thinks I'm wrong, corrects me.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, because I watched that cast.
It's just said.
Yeah. All right. Because also, a lot of you may remember that there was a tier list, and there was a lot of matchups that people put in a don't know tier. That's another intention of this, to try and clear a lot of them up. There's a whole bunch I don't know much about, so hopefully I'll learn a whole lot. I want to introduce the people that have joined me for this first one. So we'll probably go in alphabetical order based on your names here. So
That would be me first,
Yes.
I guess. Hi, I'm Jerome. Although that's not my name on the thing. I'm the guy who did Iggy versus Marshall, but we probably won't be discussing that till later.
no, today is pretty much just going to be all of the matchups that didn't make it on the survey, if we can get through them all in one nice go.
Nice.
Which I think we're at 13, 14 right now. I think there's a Juliet Starling from Lollipop Chainsaw pitch that we don't know
Trying
if it
to
was
confirm.
one. The confirmation is still in the process.
I can evidence though.
Yeah.
That's a good evidence for that. Just kind of wait for it.
Yeah. Next we have.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name's Kino. Long-standing member of the community. Yeah, just excited to get into this and kind of discuss these matchups, learn more about matchups that I might not be aware of. But yeah, I think this is a really fun thing that Nuke's doing, and putting a bit of love onto each matchup.
Yeah, it's the first, I think, serious Death Battle project I've done outside of. The only other thing I've really done is make trailers and stuff, which I've had fun doing. And some of them are pretty good.
Your trailers are pretty nice.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I guess I'm next up. Speaking of me, hi, it's your boy, Santi Sherm. We're here to have a nice chill time, a nice little chill podcast where we just shine a light on some of these matchups you might not know a whole ton, or maybe try to give a little pros to what some people think might not be all that great.
Yeah, a general idea is that you can consider this as a more detailed, in-depth version of what Ballot Banter does.
And as for me, I am Stadunes, or you can just call me Stat. I picked 2 matchups, but we're not gonna talk about it for today. Because we're gonna go over it another time. But I'm mostly here because I just want to learn about new things about each pitch and what they have to offer. I think that a lot of them have some hidden gems in them that I'll be intrigued to open more about each matchups and learn more about them.
Yeah, going over some of the notes and information I've received so far, which I have a Google form up that people can submit, whether you pitched it or not. I will take any information on a matchup that I can get my hands on. But some of them I've definitely seen the information and been like, oh, well, that's actually really cool. There's one that comes to mind, which is Superman versus Celestia. I saw that and was like, I don't get it. Then I read it. I was like, oh, that's kind of interesting.
I am one of the defenders of that matchup. I think it's a character pairing that is kind of actually a classic if you're in the My Little Pony fandom. So
Once I read it, I somewhat got it. So it'll be interesting to get around to that.
Yeah, that's one of the matchup I opened my mind to, like the very first one.
Right, let's get started with, like I said, all the matchups that did not make it onto the survey, specifically because they were discovered after I put the survey up. There's actually 2 matchups on the survey that got added a bit later, and that'll get brought up as we come to their positions in the ranking. But to start with, like I said a little bit earlier, we've got Atom Smasher versus Cyborg.
They're both pretty cool. I mean, I like robots.
Yeah, they're both cool characters. Yeah. Like was said earlier, the purpose of this pitch was just to get them considered to be put on the show.
Yeah.
So with that being said, I know that I think there's an Atom Smasher pitch.
There is.
Which was Frank Horrigan from Fallout.
Yeah.
I don't know a whole lot about
Yes.
that, and we'll probably discuss it in more detail when we get to it. But with that being said, we can probably talk about a few Cyborg matchups while we're here.
Yeah.
I know the crew has been liking Cyborg versus the Thing, which is an interesting idea.
I'm also a big fan of that one.
Yeah.
I think that matchup makes a lot of sense.
Because it's the high school jock who kind of went through this massive physical transformation where they are rejected by society due to the way they look now.
Yeah.
But they're also part of, obviously, world-saving, universe-saving superhero teams.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's interesting because Cyborg kind of completely destroys any other cybernetic opponents. So to have an opponent that wouldn't have that advantage is actually really interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. He does kind of nuke any cybernetic thing, doesn't he?
One of the most insane things I've seen from Cyborg is when he is during Injustice, when he hacks the future version of himself and somehow manages to catch up. And it's like, that makes no actual sense.
Yeah, he's the kind of robot that if you wanted a robot to fight in, he's the kind of one you'd have to pull the Cybermen in for, like the Supremacy Cybermen. With
or just some enemy that can keep up with how absolutely insane his tech ability is.
Well, that's the thing. The Supremacy Cybermen can warp reality and time so that they win in every single moment.
Well, if we're going to talk about a Cyborg matchup against someone that can warp time, I think a pretty cool option for Cyborg to fight would be Cable.
That's also a really interesting one.
Because he does have technology, but that technology is like protected from outside interference by his own telepathy, as well as the technology on its own already scaling pretty high. So it's possible Cyborg can hack into it, but it's definitely more of a discussion than almost any of Cyborg's other matchups.
Yeah.
Plus Cable already has a bunch of other ways to compete in a fight with Cyborg that I think is pretty cool.
And technically, since his Cyborg thing is more to do with the Legacy virus trying to overtake him, if I remember correctly, you'd have to ask if the Legacy virus could overtake Cyborg.
Which would be a really interesting discussion. Could Cyborg be targeted as he is mechanical? Yeah, it's pretty cool. I like how we would have like a bunch of different technology interacting with each other, just kind of the various ways they have to travel through time and space, like the the boom tubes and cables various methods. It's very interesting in my opinion.
So that's two pretty cool cyber matchups. It's kind of funny that they're both Marvel characters, but I mean that pairing just
Sometimes it just be like that.
yeah, sometimes
Yeah.
it does. So we'll move on now that we've discussed those. We'll move on to Ganondorf versus Sauron, which is also a fairly recent find, because these Adam Smash vs Cyborg and Ganondorf vs Sauron both had fairly recent casts from Death Battle.
This is a great matchup.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'd like to see both of them return again.
I think if this was in the survey, it would have ranked very highly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a really fun pairing. I think it makes a lot of sense. It'd be good to have both characters come back. Yeah, I love this one a lot.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you go,
Yeah.
yeah.
If you know both characters, it's immediately obvious.
Right. I mean, it's a one versus an army fight. I think that would be interesting. But the one thing that I don't really understand
They
was
both kind of have armies.
the downfall of this matchup. I've seen a lot of people have a dislike over this matchup. I'm not sure. Yeah, there are quite an amount of people who didn't like this matchup. But I really like this one, so.
I mean, if people, when I eventually put this
I
up
think
as a
it's
video,
because
when
they
people
don't
want to
want
say
either of them to return.
people want to say anything in the comments about this matchup, if they don't like it, you are more than welcome to. But yeah, there's not really much to say past it's a really obviously cool idea, and it makes sense.
I would say if we want to talk about aspects of the matchup that are particularly good, I think thematically it's very, very good because both are characters that are primarily, they have a hunger for power and dominion. That is their brand of evil. That is very interesting to like dive into, because there are pure evil characters, but there are also like pure evil characters that you can get into like what specific evil are they, and being able to recognize that inherent hunger is very compelling for both of them.
Yeah.
But also another cool aspect is I would argue that the debate is potentially the most interesting power interactions you can get between the two of them.
You get to throw the Triforce
Particularly-
against the One Ring, two incredibly iconic artifacts of pop culture.
That's what the hand.
That plus the way that their soul interactions or their soul resistances is very nuanced and interesting, because Ganondorf has various ways to attack the soul and has various ways to manipulate or destroy a soul. One might argue it's even layered soul destruction. But the thing is that Sauron has a Tolkien soul that is protected by the flame imperishable. So it's very hard to argue that Sauron's soul could or could not be destroyed. And then once we get into Echoes of Wisdom and Ganon has access to the Null Void, that's Ben 10, that's the wrong thing. But he has access to that like alternate dimension that like eats away at concepts. That's a very interesting discussion to see if Sauron, once he is separated from Arda, can still survive a realm like that now that he is weaker than he once was. It's a very fascinating discussion.
Would Ganon get that though?
What?
Would Ganondorf get the Null Void?
He got from Uncle Ben, from the Rust Bucket. No, he got access in Echoes of Wisdom.
Yeah, because
It's an old game. We don't need spoilers anymore.
The characters in Legend of Zelda, Ganondorf is the one they would scale to every version of Ganondorf because it's just the same guy.
To make a long story short, it's established just by talking to other characters that the backstory of Echoes of Wisdom is that there was a whole other adventure that Link went on, and it involves Ganon figuring out how to open portals to Null, basically. So he would be able to do that.
Interesting, because that's not my interpretation, but that's not for this discussion right now.
We gotta talk about the positives.
But yeah, I think it's a really fun matchup either way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we'll move on then to probably, I think it was this one got discovered from the Google form I put up for submitting info on matchups, and it is Lum versus Lala Satalin Deviluke. They're both anime characters, so hence the unique names.
Yeah.
For anyone that doesn't know, they're both alien princesses from aggressive, war-driven species who fall in love with a pretty average boy from Earth with no interest in the girl. They both build robots and gadgets that have a very big tendency to go haywire, which leads to various shenanigans. And they both kick their stories off in a very similar way, that being a failed love confession that gets hijacked by the alien princess, leading to an accidental engagement. They are very much almost the same character with a bit of a different look to them. In some ways, it's like an anime version of Tom versus Wile E. Coyote, in that they have a lot of failing and wacky shenanigans, but also, they're anime girls. It's not exact, but
To anyone who doesn't know, Lum is the old 80s, 90s anime icon with blue hair and the tiger stripe lingerie. That is what you've probably seen them. You might not recognize, you might not be able to recognize their name, but it's that iconic anime character.
Yeah.
It's that one.
I believe they're currently producing a reboot.
yeah, I know there was.
of
There
Urusei
definitely, I
Yatsura.
did see some of the reboot of Urusei Yatsura, which is Lum's show.
I don't know if it. Yeah.
Seemed.
Yeah, I remember when I
right.
first looked up the character, I thought she almost looks like an anime Josie and the Pussycats.
Yeah, what did you say she seems like?
Like, Josie and the Pussycats.
Oh, I don't.
Yes. I can see it. It's been a while, but
It's
yeah,
like
I see
a
what you mean. Yeah.
it's a Hanna-Barbera property.
Yeah.
All right.
It was
have
from
a
the
giant-
era. Yeah.
They have a giant talking shark as a companion.
Yeah. That's the one. But yeah, it's from the era where they were spamming out things that were kind of like Scooby-Doo. So it was always 3 teenagers and an
Neat.
animal. Or in one case, a motorized buggy.
Well, overall, it's just one of those matchups that are just. It's like that quote from the Todoroki Zuko death battle. It's like, he's just like me. I think that's the quote. I put that quote on my submission for the current set of ballot banter because I submitted Deacon St. John from Days Gone versus Daryl Dixon, and they are just very much the same character.
I think this one could be potentially a very fun
absolutely.
episode if this ever did happen, because I think they haven't done many episodes where a character is like having backfires a lot of the time, like throughout the fight, like what they're throwing out there.
Like I said,
And
Tom
I feel
versus
like
Wild,
this
that was a
episode-
whole thing there, but this is just another one, and that fight was real fun.
But not very often.
Yeah, that's what we only kind of just got it with Tom versus Wiley, and I think this would be the same thing, but like they could do it in a completely different way, if that makes sense. And I think that's potentially a lot of fun.
I think it would be a really cool way to cover essentially a slice of anime history. Because Lum is very iconic. Like, a lot of people know her design, but not a lot of people know like what the story is, what that anime is really all about. And the other character, whose name I am forgetting, Lala, and her anime, which is To Love Ru, was kind of a it was a anime that was happening at the same time. Concurrent was the word I was looking for. That was compared a lot when they were coming out. So to have this very specific matchup would kind of be like a feather in the cap at anime trivia night, to be like, yes, I do know these characters and their rivalry at this time period in culture.
Yeah. And learning things is part of the fun of Death Battle.
True. That's how I got into Death Battle. I was like, who are all these funky characters? What's a Blanca?
One character that was that for me. I loved learning about Bucky O'Hare. That was a real out there idea, but that was a good episode. Rivalry type stuff was mentioned, and the next matchup on our list is a very recent one, a very rival quote-unquote matchup, and that is Luz versus Anne Boonchoi. There's not much that we really need to say about this because everybody gets it.
It's my favorite of all time.
Most people like it.
Never heard of it.
It's not if, it's when.
Yeah.
Luzanne,
honestly,
tomorrow.
I can see that being this year. I can see that being an episode this year. 100%. Plus, I might be wrong, but I think both show series /series are getting more stuff this year. Or next year.
Owl House
I think I've seen
is
some
not.
stuff.
But Amphibia is.
Right, okay.
Yeah,
I know I'd seen something.
Wait,
I didn't know.
Stuff?
Yeah, because I know I'd seen something. I don't remember what I saw. I just know I saw something.
Amphibia is getting a new graphic novel.
Oh, nice.
I'm so
about
excited.
If you know the story of Amphibia, it is about the citizens of Amphibia after the story is over. So we see
so cool.
like the frog characters kind of grown up, going on their own adventures.
Oh, that does.
That's so cool.
That's cool. I've not seen either of them, but
Sprig matchup stocks are about to go way up.
There's like one Sprig matchup that's really liked. It's what's the character's name?
Is it a Sonic character?
Yeah, it's a Sonic character. I just don't remember the character's name.
Tangle's
There it is. That's the.
I personally like Sprig versus Suyu, but that's just me.
I also like what's the tadpole called again? The younger sister.
Polly?
Polly?
Polly versus Tronbon.
Ooh.
Oh, I haven't actually heard that one before.
That's fun.
Because they're both like super intelligent as well.
Yeah, and they're both, they got the mechs with them,
Yeah.
The Polly matchup I was most familiar with was Polly and Frobo versus Cream and Gemerald.
Oh, that's. I don't know a lot about Gemerald, but that'd be kind of neat to learn.
General's cool. It's
Where my Sonic Advance 3 fans at?
Yeah.
Alright, moving from a matchup that everybody knows about to a matchup that is one I didn't really know a whole lot about because I don't. Well, it's Medaka versus Garou, and I don't know anything about Medaka, and I know very little about Garou. I don't even know if I'm saying his name right.
You are saying his name right.
Okay, good.
Is it Cosmic Garou?
I think Cosmic Garou has to be included with how strong Medaka is.
Yeah, it's apparently
Medaka
all I've been able to find is that it's something about copying attacks and powers.
Yes, that's kind of their thing, is that they use other people's abilities to fight them.
Yeah, which I mean, that sounds kind of neat.
Does Garou keep? Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was just saying it sounds kind of neat, but I don't know. I have no idea or opinion on the matchup itself.
Yeah,
Does Garou keep other people's powers, or because if I remember correctly, Medaka only stores them for like a limited time.
There is a funny potential. I don't know much about Medaka, but there is a funny chance they could try to just copy each other's powers, surely. I
imagine that would have to happen at some point.
Things,
Yeah.
which would be probably a good chance for comedy.
I think Garo keeps everything that he learns how to copy.
Yeah.
I mean, I could be wrong. If someone in the comments wants to correct me, then please go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, this one would be a high scaling fight where you could have like Garo like trying to one up because the whole thing about him is that he wanted to one up Saitama, and so he encountered somebody who's more like very powerful. He tried to copy Medaka, and then Medaka is just on her back. I don't think she's gonna try as hard as Garo, like really trying to kill him, but it would be a fun fight.
Yeah, I'm just realizing there's
see them going all
only...
out.
I've seen like one other Medaka matchup, and it's this she gets put against Superman for some reason.
Huh.
And I
I've
don't...
seen her against Makoto.
you're gonna have to be specific with the series, though.
Ichima.
Yeah, Persona.
Ah.
Oh.
I think Medaka is really strong and is the
That's very
protagonist. And
I would assume
why
that
that is
from the fact
important.
that her series is called Medaka Bucks.
I think it's supposed to be like this fight, Medaka takes up like the protagonist status. That would go against Garo. Like it's kind of like if Medaka replaced Saitama, could Medaka do as well or something?
Like
I mean-
good versus evil.
Might be something there, but I don't know.
I think what's interesting is that from what I've just read from Medaka on like versus forums, like and I've been discussing the thematics, just the debate, is that Medaka supposedly does keep a lot of the powers.
Oh,
And I think the powers Medaka has are a lot more broken than the powers Garo has. Like Garo at like his most reality warping is like teleporting and time travel. And like Medaka is like messing with stuff that are like the plot and like death manipulation and stuff. So it's like
I'm beginning to see why people want to put her against Superman. I'm beginning to see it. Just beginning.
Yeah, but I feel like people only pit her up against Superman and Makoto because of her power. I'm not really sure if it's about, her character and stuff.
I know nothing about a character to even begin to comment
I know
on
she's like this. She's like the class president type thing. That's her stick.
Uh,
it. I could be way off here because, like I said, I don't know anything. But why do I feel like Medaka versus Haruhi from Melancholy of Haruhi might have something there?
Yeah, I seen this matchup before, but I seen people pit Haruhi against another character from Medaka box named Najima.
Okay, so I guess I was kind of
years old.
on the right lines with that, but wrong characters. Oh well, yeah, I don't think there's much else we can really say about that, so we'll move on to one we could probably say a good amount about, and that is Medic versus Richtofen.
love this matchup.
Yeah, I think
yes.
other than Sarge versus Soldier, this is probably the most popular Team Fortress 2 matchup. And then probably Spy versus 47 in third. That's at least how I'd rank it.
I can't testify to their popularity, but I can say that it is my favorite idea for a TF2.
Yeah. I mean, I
episode.
imagine the three of them kind of switch around the top three, but I don't think any other Team Fortress 2 matchups get more popular than those three. But
Yeah, this one
I
is.
think
One is so fun to make, man. Like the banner between the two, it would be crazy. Yeah, seeing these two mad scientists going at each other.
And
I think it'll be fun for analysis wise, like in the rundown, for audiences who don't realize just how crazy both these verses are.
yeah, and the fact that it would be specifically a Call of Duty Zombies character getting on first, as opposed to any of the main story characters like Price. That is just incredibly funny to me.
I mean, zombies is just much more interesting to analyze.
Oh, I know.
Yes. It's the kind of crazy lore that You could have a cutaway gag where they just go to Jocelyn and she's just gone insane,
Yeah.
trying to figure out
You become
the
zombified.
timeline.
There you go.
Jocelyn was turned into a zombie by doing all this
Yes.
Call of Duty zombies research.
Another billboard scene, like in the Aizen versus Madara episode.
Mm-hmm.
I could see like Wiz like trying to go through the rundown and then just malfunctions and then he gets wheeled off by one of his clones. It's like, oh yeah, that was a robot.
Oh man. I will say, I don't think I know enough about. I don't know a lot about the connections past crazy German doctors, but I don't think I need to because that just works on
Yeah,
a
it's
real
good
good
enough.
level.
Yeah.
Sometimes you just need simple vibes.
Yeah, I mean, like we got friggin' Machamp versus Goro, and that's one of the most fun episodes I've ever seen. So, simple vibes
Wait, I forgot.
sometimes works real well.
Which one is Primus? Which one is Ultimus? Richtofen again? I forgot.
Oh, I
Ultimus is the one that's less like a Nazi.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I see that.
which I can see why people
they're
want
both still
Ultimus
powerful,
over the other one. Then if there's less Nazi in there.
I think
Man.
it's really cool. This matchup is
absolutely.
a really cool way to delve into the entirety of what a TF2 character is capable of.
Yeah,
Because some matchups like Spy versus 47 make more sense to be like, let's just take Spy with what he normally has as disposal on like missions and in the comics and stuff.
but Medic gets really into
Richtofen-
the cool science of it.
Yeah, the medic is kind of, he's not necessarily the main character or like the blatantly smartest or anything, but he does seem to be the one that messes with the most esoteric aspects of the franchise most often.
Yeah, which
So like he's the one that like goes to hell. He's the one who figured out how like ubercharge and healing and
Yeah.
regenerating people back to life works.
which
He's
really
the one
fits
that
with
like
Richtofen.
messes. He's the one that messes with Australia. You're giving Richtofen everything because you're not just giving Richtofen like the stuff he has when he's shooting zombies. So you'd also give Medic stuff like his lab, his like large machines, his magic spells. You'd give, this would be the way to like, what is like everything that a TF2 character can be, and what is it like when it slams into the Call of Duty zombies world.
So
And it's a stomp, but that's like, it doesn't matter.
no.
It's still cool. I love it. One of my favorites.
The track slaps.
Alright, so we'll move on now then. We've got next Mirajane Strauss from Fairy Tail versus Terra Branford from Final Fantasy VI. I don't know anything about Terra Branford, because I don't know a lot about Final Fantasy outside of 7 and through playing the recent Magic the Gathering set.
Right, I can break down Terra for you. Terra is... She's a mage who you initially meet her when she has had her... She's under the control of like this empire who you're fighting for. And she kind of becomes freed from that and has all of her memories gone. And then she fights against this empire. Partway through the game, she transforms into this creature, which we later find out is known as an Esper, because it turns out that she is half Esper, and she really struggles with this power. Like she goes berserk with it, can't really control it, and then later down the line is able to like gain full mastery of it. Becomes a real powerhouse. Like it completely amps up all of her magic. And then there's a part in the Final Fantasy VI, which she's the arguable main protagonist of, just because that game doesn't have a set main protagonist.
Right.
But she, after the time skip that occurs, she is found running an orphanage, where she's looking after all these children who was part of a town that Kefka completely blew up with like javelins. And she is looking after them, and she won't join your team until you've done other things first.
Right.
And then yeah, it's like she then, when push comes to shove, when the orphanage is threatened, will then reactivate her powers and then joins the party from there on.
I'm seeing some of it begin to connect in my mind.
Because I do understand this matchup. I didn't get it at first, but when I started thinking about it, I do get it. Because Mirajane also kind of has this power where she has her magic, which is known as Demon Soul, where she can absorb demons and then transform into them and use their powers. But she struggled with her power at first and stopped. After she joined the guild, after something happened where she nearly lost her. Well, when she lost her sister, she decided that she was never going to use magic again. And then she works for the guild of Fairy Tale as general helper, barmaid, yada yada, part of the family. And then when push comes to shove, when the guild is threatened and they're having to all fight each other, she then lets loose her power and is kind of similar to Terra, one of the strongest characters of that faction.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense from at least how you've been describing it, and seems quite interesting. And any opportunity to get a Final Fantasy character not from 7, I will take it. Because we've just... when we hear Cloud, Tifa, Sephiroth...
Cloud again
against the same guy. There was somebody not from 7, Death Battle, please.
Next time there's a Final Fantasy, it'll just be Aerith.
Don't blame them for Final Fantasy VII being one of the greatest games of all time.
I get it from numbers, getting this, trying to play the YouTube algorithm. It's I will say,
We'll get them one day.
my current favorite. My current favorite is one that was pitched, which will come up later, and I can't wait to talk about it because it has. Once I watched the pitch video on it, it went straight into my top 10. I love it so much.
Wonder what it is.
Might be difficult to figure out if you don't know anything about about the series I like, but maybe some people can guess it. We gotta know.
I didn't know someone made a Mass Effect versus Final Fantasy pitch.
God, that would be
You
wild.
never know. You never.
I really hope I get to learn what that Garrus Vakarian pitch is. I'm so excited because from the way the person who pitched it described it, it's a matchup. It's a new matchup, which is great for me because I don't like any of the current ones. Well, Chewbacca is kind of intriguing. That's probably the one that I have the most interest in right now. No, I don't. Okay, I'm gonna explain this in very clear terms. Garrus doesn't work as well for Arbiter as people think he does, and there's a Mass Effect character that just works on a better level, and that is Rex, because they both do the exiled from their species, exiled from their, race/planet/species, and then they return and take over and become the leader and save their people. If you know Rex's story, it becomes a lot clearer. It works better on every level. And then the other Garrus matchups are fairly mid. There's Punisher, which is it stems from what Garrus did in Mass Effect 2. There's Rook from Ben 10, but then that falls apart when you get told that Garrus is no longer a cop. There's one I came up with, which was MCU Hawkeye, which is it's pretty mid, to be honest. Yeah, you can see how I'm struggling, which is annoying because Garrus is so cool.
It happens sometimes. Sometimes it's just
It's
a
just hard.
character.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think everybody has one, a cool
Yeah.
character. But you just say like, oh, it's so cool, but I can't for the life of me figure it.
I'll tell you one matchup that involves two of my favorite characters of all time, and I'm so happy it exists, and that is James Bond versus Leon Kennedy, and I love that it works.
Ah.
Interesting.
Mhm.
I won't say a lot about it now, because this isn't the time, but I just wanted to say it because it was related. Yeah, we need to move on to Raiden Shogun versus Malenia. Genshin Impact versus Elden Ring. I don't know either of these guys. Past the general perception of Genshin Impact's whole popularity and then Elden Ring being a phenomenal game.
Mhm.
I do have the notes here about both being divine swordswomen who also have a twin sibling, and a major thing for both of them is turning a country into a wasteland. And that is all the notes I have. Do any of you know the characters to any degree to be able to comment on this?
I know that visually the fight would look really cool because both are known for their like hyper fast, like they blur when they move sword fighting, so it would look
I
really
have
cool.
seen clips of Malenia fighting, mostly from the absolute top tier meme that is "Let me solo her."
Ah. Yeah.
But I have not played either of these games, and I just know them
No.
through tangential
Understandable.
things.
Yeah.
I did.
Unfortunately, these are two games that I just have never touched, so they fall outside of my knowledge.
Yeah.
I did work on a video with the Tarnished versus Breath of the Wild Link for a versus show. So I got a bit of a look into some Elden Ring stuff, but obviously, not Malenia. But it was somewhat linked. So I have a tiny amount of knowledge, but not enough to know why this works past the notes I have.
I did read the connection for this one a while back. They both have a younger sibling or like twin.
Yeah, that's in the notes.
They don't fight. Yeah, but then a tragedy struck to them, leading to the downfall of these two goddesses, causing them to be isolated from the rest of other world. And yeah, I think it's really interesting to look at like the analysis of these two characters and that tragedy and how it led to where they are now. I think the banner for this one would be very poetic, and I think it would be fun.
Well, I am more than up to learn about it, and if anybody has any information, feel free to put it in the comments or message me directly on one of the many platforms I'm on. Not really much else we can actually say about that one, because just don't know a whole lot. Moving on to something with a character that I do know a good amount about, and a matchup where I watched the pitch video for it yesterday, and quite honestly, really liked it. It's Raimundo from Shaolin Showdown versus Yang from Yin Yang Yo.
I don't remember anything from Shaolin Showdown. I just gonna say that.
It's a Cartoon Network series about a group of kids
I did watch it.
all tied.
I just
Each of them are tied to a certain element. Raimundo's is wind, and the show is all about finding these mystical objects and collecting them to stop evil people from using them for evil purposes. That's the general overview.
Yeah. I remember Raimundo in the show visually, but I think I remember Yin Yang Yo more.
Yeah, Raimundo is the wind guy, and his main weapon is the Sword of the Storms, which is a very unique sword because it doesn't because you don't use it as a sword because it passes through objects and people. Like, you cannot hit people with it. You have to. Raimundo uses it in conjunction with his already established wind powers to fight his enemies, but it took him a while to figure out how to do it because he's quite a. I think the right word is bombastic, arrogant, young guy. You know. Plus, he's Brazilian.
I've watched.
I could be wrong, but I think he's Brazilian, which is
That's
actually
cool.
pretty neat.
Yeah.
His name is Yang, so I feel like. Oh wait,
No,
his
Ra-
name is Raimundo, which makes me think like. I don't. Is that a Brazilian name?
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to meet a Brazilian guy called Raimundo.
I suppose that's fair. I don't know anything to say one way or another.
It's a Spanish name, apparently, according to Google.
Yeah, okay, then that makes sense because Brazil is like Spanish/Portuguese. I think it's one of those two. And
Yeah.
those
You know, there's,
two languages have a lot of similarities from what my brief knowledge of them.
You know, there is another Brazilian swordsman who has a sword that cuts through everything.
Well, no,
Why didn't we just
it doesn't
do
cut for
Raimundo
everything.
versus
It literally
just
Yeah.
Sam?
it passes through without doing
Yeah.
anything. It like
Yeah.
The man who cuts
Yeah.
through everything versus the man that can't
Oh
cut
my-
through anything.
oh my, Jetstream
Who
Sam,
would
right?
win?
Is it Jetstream
Yeah.
Sam?
Yeah.
Yes, he is
Okay,
making
that's-
a reference to Metal Gear for some
that-
reason.
Yeah.
That's
Well,
actually
it's just
that is kind of funny.
Brazilian swordsman. It's like
Yeah. I will.
immediately.
I think in the description, I'm going to be linking as many, whatever pitch videos exist for these matchups. I will link them. I highly recommend people to check out the Raimundo versus Yang one because
The only thing I remember.
Yeah, I saw the
Okay.
video. It was good.
it was.
I only
honestly.
remember the moon level feat. That
Yeah,
apparently both of these.
They can both have artifacts that can move the moon, and I don't want to spoil it, but the pitch video has a really fun interaction about that. So go check it out.
Yeah, I love the way that the picture just counter each other's argument.
Yeah, he
Like
just
they made an
he
argument.
brings
One
up
character
various
and then
artifacts to
counter.
just counter each other in a kind of. I don't know the right word to compare it to. Maybe chess match or something. I don't know. But it's a
Now, I
really
watched
interesting matchup.
I watched my fair share of Shaolin Showdown when I was a kid.
Same.
And I think the main appeal of that show was it was just really cool to see all these different like cool weapons and powers be used in different and fun ways.
Yeah, and all the.
And I think that's kind of like the whole premise of this matchup is just like,
Yeah.
let's just slam these action figures together, except we have 47 different action figures to slam together.
Yes.
It sounds like it's a fun time.
Yeah, so watch the pitch video, you'll get it. And next we've got Takuto Maruki versus Enrico Pucci. Persona versus JoJo's. Yet another combo of that series, which just makes so much sense because it just works. It just works.
Yeah, this one makes a lot of sense. This one is less about them fighting. This is more about a philosophy battle. Having both of them, their ideology clashes against each other. They both have similar like vision. Like Pucci wanted to achieve heaven, and Maruki wanted to create a world where everybody no longer suffer, and basically it's so everybody can live a happy life. But the way they execute it are very different from each other. They're like the opposite of each other. I would imagine that Maruki would despise Pucci's like the things that he's doing, and he's trying to steal his heart, similar to how Joker is trying to steal the heart of Maruki. I think it would be fun for both of them to interact with each other.
Yeah, it definitely seems it.
I think this matchup is particularly cool to talk about because of they're different philosophies interacting. I think how I would want to see this is I would want it to be like it starts off with under the assumption that they're actually working together to achieve their goal, but then like they're just having like a conversation, like they're at dinner or something, and as they're discussing the intricacies of their plans, they realize the fundamental differences, and that's when like the fight starts, and it's literally like a disagreement as they're fighting as to like, you're wrong because of X, Y, and Z. Well, actually, you're wrong because of A, B, and C, and I think that would be like the coolest way to do that. I'd want the debate to be mixed with the actual fight.
Yeah, Pucci would be the one to start a fight. Most likely. And plus having a Anne with your persona, that would be interesting. But these two, both of their power, kind of very OP. I mean, made in heaven, literally made in heaven. And then you got Adam Catmon, and then figuring out the deal with it and how it like upscale from Yalda Bluff, and then learning like the history of Adam, and then tackling like Hebrew types. I think it will be fun episodes all around. Although it's not my favorite of both of them, but I think this one will be a really episode. Excellent matchup to make.
I did.
Speaking
of other ideas, I did make a trailer once for a Pucci matchup, which was him versus specifically MCU Thanos.
That was the one that I really liked a lot.
Just kind of neat. But yeah,
I'm gonna say something that's a hot take in regards to Pucci versus I was about to say Makoto versus Maruki, which is that I think that Pucci is stronger than Golden Experience Requiem.
Oh.
I think that's
and I think Maruki is actually weaker than Joker. So this is technically on paper a closer matchup.
I have to imagine that Maruki being
see an
weaker than
argument for
Joker
that.
isn't a hot take because he wins in the end? Or is that...
No, like that's not the hot take aspect. This the aspect
okay.
of Pucci being stronger than GR is what's going to get people to disagree with me. But all I'm saying is that there are multiple statements that no stand could stop Pucci's Made in Heaven. And GR existed at that point in time. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
Yeah.
I agree with the first one.
Yeah, so I think
agree
I
that-
still don't think it's debatable, but I think like on paper it is closer technically.
Alright. Speaking of matchups that probably aren't close, unless there's some kind of feats and scaling I don't know about, we'll move on to the Eds versus the Warners. Ed and Eddie versus Animaniacs, which I don't get the links, but that's mostly just because I never watched Animaniacs as a kid. But I get it does vibe nicely for me. So there's that. I'm willing to hear if anybody knows what kind of links there are past the whole wacky cartoon trios.
I've watched the Animaniacs somewhat, but I think that is the main draw of it, is that they're causing trouble constantly. And there's like 3 of them. I think the Animaniacs probably have a bit more Toon Force
Probably.
behind them. Yeah.
Yeah,
Again, Ed and Eddie do appear in a bunch of the extended Cartoon Network crossover stuff, which I don't know if they get to scale or actually get to use it in this, but I guess it'd be interesting.
I guess you could pull it in, because, you know, it might give them a better chance.
But yeah, no, seems very fun. Very fun.
Yeah, you could
It
write
would be
lots of
fun,
good
yeah.
jokes.
I
It'll be
think
fun
this
to-
is similar in appeal to a lot of other Toon Force matchups. I think a lot of Toon Force matchups kind of boil down to which characters do you like more and have more of an attachment for. I think the appeal of this one in particular, of at least of the casts, is that they like operate as a team a lot, and they're like a very close like they're either best friends or their family, and they're very like together to the end kind of thing.
Yeah.
Unless I misunderstand how their dynamic works. And they kind of have like a very similar dynamic between the three of them, where they have like the leader, the smart one, and the big dumb one. So it's like they are comparable a lot. So I think if you really like Animaniacs or you really like Ed, Edd n Eddy, then this would be the one.
Ooh. I did come up with a non-fight sort of quote-unquote more of a crossover idea for Eddie. And that is, it's going to be a character that I don't think, it's going to be very unlikely that you guys know who this character is, because he's from a cornerstone of British television, but an old cornerstone. That is Del Boy from Only Fools and Horses.
Oh yeah, Del Boy.
Because in a lot of ways, Eddie just seems like a younger version of Del Boy, and I feel like it would be really interesting to put the two of them against each other in sort of like a...
Yeah, I see that.
That would be a funny back and forth.
What's the... Apprentice, that's the show.
Yeah.
Like, see who can be the best salesman type thing.
No, you forget that there's two other British people in this call.
Fair enough. I'm too used to there not being a lot of British people surrounding me and this stuff, and I keep forgetting. But it's good to know that you guys are and that you get it.
I think maybe something cool you could do with the Animaniacs and the Eds is that, now I barely watch either show, but if I understand it, they're always trying to like get into something, like they're trying to do some kind of business venture or something. I think it'd be cool if like they weren't necessarily trying to like out heist each other, but they were trying to like somehow fight over like a business opportunity, and like they're constantly trying to delay it's like the weirdest version of Nathan versus Laura Croft or Sam versus Snake, where they're fighting over a MacGuffin. It's like they're fighting over a potential like
I can see it.
Client.
I think what you could do there is the Animaniacs actually live in the water tower at Warner Brothers. So you could have them planning to go try and pitch something to the boss of Warner Brothers, but they get there and Ed, Edd n Eddy are there already.
The Animaniacs are like, we're already on thin ice. We can't handle the competition.
Oh, man. It does sound right.
Yeah, so I would say
just a real fun idea.
So from what I see, based on like the previous Toon Force fight that we had originally, to me, it seems like while they are fighting like for fun, it kind of seems to me as they are fighting getting a bit like aggressive, and like eventually it escalates to the point where they're fighting like very seriously. But with this fight, I think that this one is a fun one because I don't think they will take the fight seriously at all. I think throughout the fight, they're just gonna goof around, and then stuff just gonna happen in the background. But I don't think they really have the intent to, kill each other. But, a death is inevitable. It will happen.
It has to be a purely accidental one for this.
But, it's probably an accident for that. Yeah. I will also say that this one is a fun episode to animate, but I think it would be a nightmare for like Luis and other animator, because that's like 6 people that you have to animate. That would be
and the Animaniacs they do tend to switch up styles occasionally as well, which
I think it would have to be sprites. Like, giving that to a 2D animator, giving them 6 people to animate, that's great. It has to be sprites.
I mean,
can't imagine it being hand-drawn.
You say that. I mean, I do agree, but after Bowser vs. Eggman, like, I don't know what's off the table these days.
Imagine Moro animating this? Oh my god.
A hand-drawn army fight. None of us expected that, man.
I guess, but the army, no disrespect to Moro, we can say that almost all of those like 2D renders that were moving around were very like puppet, like they weren't like squash and stretch kind of thing where they were getting like a bunch of heavy like toon shenanigans going on. they were like a model that could be moved around.
All right.
Yeah, I would
Fair
say
enough.
Luis is probably more suitable for this type of fight.
You could probably have a hand-drawn section in there as part of a style change for a bit, because, like you said, the
Yeah.
Animaniacs
Yeah, like
change
with
styles
emotion
up.
style.
But-
Yeah.
So we've got one more left from all of the ones that didn't make it onto the survey, and it's another Final Fantasy one. It's okay. I'm probably gonna butcher these names, but I'm gonna give it my best shot. Zenos Galvus versus Darth Nihilus. So Final Fantasy versus Star Wars.
How was the word you messed up Darth?
Did I mess up Darth?
You said Darth like it was spelled with an F.
Oh, I think that might just be my. Huh.
Nuke is actually Sam.
That'd be funny. Yeah, so I know nothing about either of these two, but the notes I have here make it seem very interesting and another
Yeah.
kind of philosophical-ish thing, especially since it's a Star Wars matchup that delves into the more busted expanded universe stuff.
Yeah. Darth Nihilus is very cool. He's basically in of himself a super weapon at like his full power. Because he's there's a super weapon that I can't remember exactly what it does. I think it creates some sort of black hole that like sucks it, like completely just ravages a planet, sucks it all in. Something along those lines.
I think
Nihilus
somebody
survives?
mentioned. I think somebody mentioned
Yeah.
it in another pitch for another Star Wars character because they were
Yeah.
trying to go into the expanded stuff.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, but he survives, but he ends up basically as, you know, sometimes you see in Star Wars, like, items will have, like, be possessed or something. Well, Darth Nihilus possesses his Sith robes and mask, and is essentially just a cloud underneath at some point.
that is
And
a cool
he goes-
visual.
Yeah, he's a force vampire essentially that just drains the life force out of anything and can
Wow.
do that on like a planet level.
That's cool.
Like just suck all of the life out of a planet just by being near it, more or less. If he wants
To make a very strange comparison, he's kind of like Galactus because he like feeds on the Force.
Yeah.
So he'll just like go to a planet and like consume all the Force on that planet, which then proceeds to kill everything because the Force is in everything.
Yeah, the notes here I have
Yeah.
say about Nihilus's ability to drain the Force, but that apparently Zenos has something called the Resonance, which makes him highly resistant to attempts to manipulate his Aether, which is a magical force in Final Fantasy XIV that could be compared to the Force.
Yes. So Darth
Oh,
Nihilus
you
is just powering himself up by destroying as many planets as possible.
Zeno can also turn into a dragon.
There's a
Yeah.
point here that I was given, because these notes were given to me, I think, by the person who pitched it. Since there's a note here that talks about how it's a
A
matchup
very long note.
that
I'm just
could
gonna say.
realistically have them ending up as quote-unquote friends who want to murder each other.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Which sounds like a really funny idea. Because it's kind of
Yeah,
like the
that's
reverse
exactly-
of the suggestion you had for whatever his name was, versus Pucci. Just a few ago, Sherm.
Where they like start as they're working together,
Start
but
working
then they're like,
together
hang
and-
on,
Yeah.
we actually are incompatible.
Yes.
It's quite a fun idea all around.
Yes. We haven't had a draw where evil people become friends and then start killing everybody.
I don't even know if this would be a draw.
Yeah.
Then again, I know nothing
Yeah.
about how the powers would
I-
mesh together.
Yeah, I don't know much about Zenos to say.
14 is 14 the MMO? Which one?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the
Yeah, because
MMO.
that's the Warrior of Light
Mhm.
thing. Yeah, I think that one gets pretty. It's like the Final Fantasy that scales the highest. So who knows?
So here's the thing about Final Fantasy 14. If what I've been led to believe is true, is that none of the bosses actually scale to each other. Because Final Fantasy 14 protagonist's power canonically just goes to the level of whoever he's fighting. So it's not as easy to just scale everyone to each other in that game. Which is how they justify like a lot of the crossovers not necessarily scaling to each other.
Right.
Because
That makes
the
sense.
protagonist's power is hyper variable.
Huh. It's really interesting.
For the Fall Guys
Maybe I was just lied to. I have
Warrior-
no lore reason to know that. That's just what I've been told.
Yeah.
But it makes sense from what I've seen about the way people scale 14.
Right. So that brings us to the end of the bonus list, and since we've been going for over an hour now, I think we'll start wrapping the episode up here. I hope this has been an enjoyable experience for both you guys, speaking here with me and everybody watching on YouTube, however many people that is.
This is a casual kind of podcast to listen to. This is the kind of podcast that people who like these matchups... excuse me, I'm so rude of me. The people who like these matchups, they're going to grab a coffee, they're going to turn this on while they're driving down during a road trip, and they're just going to have a nice chill time.
It is an hour long, but I am going to be cutting down some of it, so... We'll see how long it
You
ends
can
up.
cut. You can cut my silence at the start when I didn't realize I had to say hi.
I imagine there's going to be a good bit of silence to just cut. Just a few seconds
gonna be chill.
here and there.
It's gonna be chill until we get to Subverse.
So, like I said, thanks everyone for watching, and a few last notes. One, if anybody is unhappy with what we've said about a matchup here, you can leave a comment or preferably reach out to me on Discord, or I have a Twitter account, but I don't really listen to it a lot.
But also leave a comment. That's good for the algorithm.
Yeah, you can
Tell
leave
us
a comment.
you hate us.
But
please.
just try and reach out to me
Good for our
in some
numbers.
way, and I'll have a link to the Google form in the description. There'll be a bunch of links in the description, but I think I'll put the Google form at the top. So you can submit some info there, whether you are the pitcher or not. And if I get any info by the next recording session, we'll probably talk about it at the start and clear things up, and that'll be the case for every episode going forward. And then we'll probably have to have a bonus episode at the very end, should we end up with anything left over. We probably won't, but yeah, because as we rise up in the rankings, I imagine that we'll also rise up in terms of knowing the matchups.
Yeah.
Right, well, I think that is everything, unless anybody wants to raise a point.
I have no points to raise.
None of that.
I guess one thing I'll say is if you feel like we've given a matchup praise that you disagree with, please remember that these are someone's pitches.
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Of course, you can not like a matchup, but respect is a thing that is worth giving people here.
If you're a hater, hate responsibly.
If you have legitimate criticisms about a matchup, then that's, I think, fair to say, as long as you, again, do it in a respectful manner. One matchup I know I disagree with the existence of is Otis from Barnyard versus Alex the Lion, because I saw the connections once, and there were a lot of just plain incorrect things there.
That's such a random matchup to have beef with specifically.
I know, but it's partially
Well,
because a favorite matchup of mine is Otis versus Sean from Shaun the Sheep.
Ah.
That's partially where my dislike of Otis versus Alex comes from, but mainly it is that the connections that I saw, at least, just were mostly wrong. But
did want to say though,
there was
can I say something about that?
there was a bit of a rant on Reddit, which is not a good place to get criticisms of things that I've found. But there was a rant, and that is just not the way you state your opinions on a matchup. Just be clear, concise, and respectful. And
Yes.
somebody wanted to say something, and I wasn't looking at my screen, so I don't know who it was.
Just to check. Oh, you go first.
Oh, I came in late because
Hi.
I just got home because I work late.
You may as well introduce
I'm
yourself
sorry.
since you're going to be on the recording, because it's still
Yeah,
going.
I'm Archive on Discord boards. I hang out in Voices a lot. I was gonna say like a joke. It's like that's a weird one to have beef with. I'm like, of course you're gonna have beef with it. There's a cow in it.
Oh, that's,
Actually,
that's funny.
Yeah.
Gotta get it in there.
It's just
I
the
tried.
best example I have, because it's really the only one I have actual disagreements with at its core.
I think we might start getting hate if we keep this outro going on for much longer.
Yes, it's
Indeed. Just to check before we do, if it's I don't know, are you still taking if somebody who hasn't revealed their pitch matchup yet? Are you still taking submissions for that? I don't know.
That
'Cause
Google
some of them might watch it.
Google form is open, and that's going to be open until the video series ends, probably. I might even leave it open after that. But yeah, no, if anybody watching has pitched a matchup that we don't know about, because there's a big public list of all the ones we do know about, submit it, and it'll be at the start of the next possible episode.
And don't lie.
Yes, please don't lie. I've already had a few people misunderstand the entire point, despite how clear the instructions were.
Very obvious
And
matchup pitch.
yes,
If you lie, we will exile you from the internet.
If you lie, we could honestly just ask Death Battle on the fireside chat
Yeah,
for confirmation.
it is a little bit hard to verify. Okay, is this person legit? It's a little bit hard.
yeah.
But
I really
I'm trying to do honest in the case.
But yeah. Well, alright. I think we're done now. I'm going to end the recording. I hope we'll see whenever this video comes out, and then whenever the next one comes out after that. There's no real schedule. But I want to say bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.